Good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Morning.
Which one? Which one? Where are we at?
Good
Well,
morning, everyone.
it's wonderful to see your beautiful faces. Um, we're in for a small group today, which is still good. Um, Lydia is going to share with us some great ideas on how to move from awareness to daily practice and why mindfulness is such an important thing in our lives. So with that, passing it to you, Lydia.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Desiree. And hello, everyone. It's great to see you all, seeing some familiar faces. And I appreciate you coming to join our relaunch of the Pathways to Wellbeing session. This series moving forward aims to be more interactive and a time for us as wellness champions to come together and discuss theory and practices that allow us to be most effective in our roles as wellness champions, and hopefully also give you an opportunity to connect with other champions around the state as we start to build that peer network of support. And so I have a PowerPoint I'm going to pull up here. And we're going to have more of a discussion-based session today. So I hope that people are open to sharing, whether in chat or you can take yourself off mute. Here we go. Share sound so I can do the video. Okay, does everybody see that? Perfect. So just a quick check-in for today. If to start us off, I'd love to go through some introductions. We're, like Desiree said, we're going to be going through we're going from awareness of wellness theory and to how do we actually practice through behaviors in the workplace. My name is Lydia Check. I'm the director of the wellness program and also a certified wellness practitioner and health behavior coach. So today we're going to be exploring wellness in action, what that looks like. We're also going to be modeling having a wellness break. One piece of creating a culture of well-being is practicing what we preach, right? That's why we're here. And so we feel as though rather than putting the onus on people to take care of themselves or self-care, rather building in opportunities to practice self-care, well-being within the workday. And so we're going to be taking a little bit of a break. And then we're going to be talking about the practical tools. We have a lot of different tools that you can take with you so that you can put what we discussed into practice, and then there'll be time for Q&A. So just real quick to get us all on the same page, what is worksite wellness? So we can have the same operational definition. Worksite wellness refers to organizational initiatives aimed at promoting healthy behaviors among employees to improve overall health and well-being. These programs can be policy-based, they can incorporate health education, medical screenings, health management programs, incorporated fitness opportunities into the workday. But most of all, it's fostering a culture of health, right? Through modeling behavior and providing employees the opportunity to have permission to take care of themselves and really encouraging that through the work that we do together. curious, what does workplace wellness mean to you as an introduction? I'd love to hear your name and what your current role for well-being is in your workplace, and then a little bit about what is important to you about workplace well-being and what brings you in that sense. So if you want to come off mute or if you want to share in chat, those are all options. I'm wondering if I can pull up the chat. Bear with me one moment.
Hello,
Oh,
I'm Diane Reagan from the Butte Silverbow Health Department.
hi,
Um,
Diane.
I've been here about 10 years. Um, and I think, we have done a lot of different things to try to promote worksite wellness. To me,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, in public health, we work, in different grants with no safety net at times, so it can be stressful. So to me, some, stress relievers possibly that can help people just relax a little bit, realize it is a job. We're going to figure things out. Just stress relievers, calming people down, take a quick walk or
Mm-hmm.
meditate somewhere or do whatever, needs to be done to help with that stress. That comes to mind first for me.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So what I'm hearing is noticing where we are in our nervous system, kind of as a workplace, whether we're collectively stressed, and then using behaviors to bring that nervous system response down, whether it be meditation or going outside, some kind of alleviating behavior to bring us from that stressed threat response back down into that cool blue zone. Is that what I'm hearing? Cool. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you sharing. Anybody else like to hop on, whether in chat or on your mic, just share your name, your role in well-being at your workplace, and why workplace wellness is important to you.
So I'm Claire Hotchkiss. I am located in Teton County, the health department. I'm a prevention specialist for them, and I am doing the Wellness Champion program with Lydia. And what our county does right now is they do have people come in to monitor. They call it healthy as wellness. So they come in and they do weights and measurements, and they have goals that you can kind of pick out that you want to do, as well as, information sheets for like nutrition or sleep, um, ways to kind of lower stress during the day. So our county does do that, but like specifically for our health department, because we can't always make it over when they're here, we're
Mm-hmm.
looking to find ways throughout our day where we can take a break and have maybe a program in place for different things we can do to reduce stress maybe during the day, or just to help our bodies kind of wake up, right? If we've been sedentary for a long time, we're also looking at just how to keep from burnout happening, right? How to keep all of our workers feeling healthy and happy and good, just feeling, overall good, and just kind of keeping um, like positive feelings, I think, within the workplace. So we look forward to coming in as opposed to dread that can happen when you're starting to burn out in the office.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of good things coming out of that. So, I'm hearing an awareness not just for that in the moment feeling, but also the long run, right? Like burnout is something that happens over many days, many actions, right? And so I'm hearing that there is some solutions around that long-term outcome by focusing on what we can do in the moment, taking that break and prioritizing. So great to hear that your group is working on those pieces, and thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else?
This is Lilia at Beaverhead County Public Health. I'm the director here, but I'm new to the role, but I've been at the health department for 11 years now. So we have Sarah, who is our public health nurse, and she is our wellness champion. So we've been doing a few things here at work. So we do like daily readings, and then we have a gratitude journal that we try to do every day at work.
Wow, that's
Um,
awesome.
and we've also incorporated employee well-being in our strategic plan. So that's one of our focuses, because we really came down to, if we don't have a healthy team, that we can't take care of our community and do our work appropriately. And at the county-wide level, we also have Healthy Is, just like Claire said. And that's open to everybody at the county. So our employees also have the opportunity to participate in that. And just throughout, I mean, if we have good weather, we try to go on walks during our breaks together. So that's been really positive, just to get a breath of fresh air. And I think so far, this, all of us have really enjoyed that. Taking, time to walk and doing our readings and our gratitude journals. And we recently just finally got around, we've been talking about doing a vision board for the last 2 years, and finally took the time to do our vision boards as a team as well.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing the great work that you're doing. I heard some things that I really love. I heard that there's a daily meeting. And is that just a wellness meeting, like a check-in?
Yeah, so we do in the morning before we really get going with our day, we do like a reading, like a daily reading. So everybody, after we do our reading, we do our gratitude journals, and then we begin our day.
Wow. And so that is a collective, intentional meeting that brings you guys together around well-being and gratitude to start your day. I'm curious, how have you noticed the work environment shift after dedicating that time in the morning? Mornings can be so busy, and so I think it's really interesting that you've prioritized taking care of yourselves first thing, and I'm curious if there's been some downstream impact from that.
Sure, I can talk to my personal experience, and then I know I've got Katie and Jess on the call as well, and they can share anything they want if they want to. But for me personally, it's something I look forward to, coming to work and, wanting to hear something positive and something that's sometimes, meaningful for the day. Like it really hits you hard some days, like, oh yeah, I really needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So I look forward to it every day, to be honest.
Wow.
And just making me think of, 3 things that I'm grateful for. Some days are hard, to come up with, but I try to really think about something different every day, even if it's the little things. And I don't know, I just really enjoy it.
And would you say that feeling of looking forward to the practice, would you say that's energizing to your work and your day?
I would say so, because you're starting your day on a positive note, kind of like, you've got whatever going on outside of work, and then you come to work and just kind of clear your mind with something positive.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you sharing that real life work application. I think this is really where the value of us coming together comes from, not just in me presenting, but also hearing from all of you, and the very real work and impact that you're experiencing. So thank you for that. Does anybody else want to hop on and introduce themselves, share about their role in well-being and why workplace wellness is important to you? Feel free if you'd like to share in chat rather than on the mic, that's always an option. And I'll just give people a moment.
I'll jump in really quick. My name's Taylor Pizzanti. I'm with the Butte Silverville Health Department.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi. And so kind of back up a second. So we have envisioned, I should say, kind of through my practicum that I did when I was getting my master's. We just haven't put it into work yet, but we have a small room that we were trying to dedicate to a wellness kind of room for like anybody that wants to go in and debrief throughout their day or whenever they can go in. So we're still working on that, but it's pretty much, we have the room now, so that's a good
Wow.
start. But we just gotta come up with some stuff to put in there. But I like your guys's, like Lilia's idea of coming together like first thing in the morning, kind of as a almost like a welcoming type thing in the morning. It would be, I might put that on our list to do.
That's
I-
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, and I appreciate you mentioning the takeaway piece of hearing what best practices are working in other places and replicating that. I think that for me is one of the more exciting pieces about the Wellness Champion program. So I appreciate you sharing that piece. No worries, Kim. I appreciate you being here. The one really fun thing about wellness work is we're all wizards. And so there is no late or early. We arrive exactly as we're supposed to. So thanks for
Perfect.
taking
That's
the
great.
time. Yeah, absolutely. I really want these sessions to be fun and interactive, a place that we can connect with one another and certainly not feel any pressure. So you're always welcome to arrive when you're able and leave when you have to. I know we're all juggling a lot. And even if you get to just say hi, it's always nice to see you guys. So thanks for joining, Kim. We were just going over, we're actually just having a conversation about who we are, what our role in well-being is, and why workplace wellness is important to us. And what I'm hoping we get out of this is to get to know each other a little bit more, but also to hear about some of that workplace wellness theory that's already being enacted, because that's what we're going to be really diving into today. So if anybody else wants to hop on, you can unmute or say in chat your name, your role in well-being, and why it's important to you. Just want to give everybody an opportunity to share if they want to before we move forward.
Sure, I can jump in. I'm Kim Berg. I'm the Public Health Director for the Hill County Health Department. I'm the health officer here, been here for 15 years. And going through the pandemic, I think, has made us really want to highlight wellness in our department. We've had quite a few people stay through that. We also have a few new people coming into the department and really want to push, mental health days. If you need a break, take a break. We don't work 24 hours a day. You need to be home with your family. Everything like that. I really want to highlight that and be an example for it. We saw a lot of that in the pandemic where we burnt ourselves out. We didn't put time in for our families, and we all suffered on that and had a lot of burnout. And PTSD, I'd say. So I did email you, Lydia, and about being the wellness champion here.
So I'm
Awesome.
excited for that. In my undergrad, I really actually wanted to do worksite wellness with my health promotion degree and then never got into it. So I kind of see this as an opportunity. So
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that, and thanks for enrolling in the program. It's really awesome
yes.
to have you. And I'm excited for the work that we're going to do collectively and also at our individual work sites. I was noticing what you shared, what I really loved was hearing about the boundaries piece that comes into play when navigating our workday so that we don't burn ourselves out, and understanding kind of where we're at and needing more time with family in our personal lives, enriching ourselves with our hobbies, things of that nature. And so recognizing that, dare I say, work-life balance, I know that that can kind of be a triggering word because work is life, right? And life is work. And so it can be hard to modulate between those. But it is something that's necessary for preventing that long-term outcome of burnout.
What I've found is difficult as being the person who runs a department is everybody is so different with what they expect for a work-life balance. Some people really are very strict with their work-life balance. Others are very strict at I'm always going to be at work no matter what. And they expect that of others. And I think that sets up kind of a little bit of tension in there. So being very I don't know how it, like everybody's okay the way that they are, and you can have different expectations, but to hold that against other people, I feel like is an issue and a struggle.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing too is this ability to recognize we're all at different places within our workplace, right? And that we have to meet not only ourselves where we're at, but our colleagues where they're at, and understanding where my personal satisfaction lies may be different than someone else's. And so how do we collectively find that middle ground where we're respecting each other's boundaries and preferences, right? Awesome. So we'll dive more into that as well as we look at the 6 dimensions of well-being. But before we transition, is there anybody else who didn't get to share that would like to? And I have up here, while we were talking, this is kind of the theory that we were talking about. Workplace wellness theory often includes leadership commitment, comprehensive wellness programs, a supportive work environment, employee engagement, and tailored wellness strategies, right? So identifying specific needs in the workplace and then tailoring initiatives to those needs, because we know that motivation is highest when a behavior change is relevant to the person and it feels like it's important to them because it's going to benefit them. It's relevant, right? And so just creating that soft framework for us to have a conversation about where do we go from here, right? How do we move from the theory into action? And we can do that by meeting ourselves where we're at first. I think understanding how to be aware of where we are and how we can help ourselves move forward. Treating ourselves with that compassion can help us extend that compassion to the work site as a whole and meeting it where it's at. And so I want to look at the 6 dimensions of wellness because it's something that we are going to be discussing throughout our work together. It's a framework to ensure that we are operating holistically and filling any gaps that we may discover in our in our work sites. And so the 6 dimensions of wellness that we will use is from the National Wellness Institute. And it's a holistic framework for understanding the whole picture of well-being. And these dimensions are interconnected and they collectively contribute to a full life. And even though they're interconnected, we can hone in on each individual piece here. And so I was interested in giving you guys an opportunity to take this assessment. If you would like, it's always optional. We have I'm going to put it in chat here. There's 2 documents. One is just the breakdown and explanation of the 6 dimensions of wellness. These are from the National Wellness Institute. I pulled that up. Did it change for sharing the screen?
Yes. But I
Beautiful.
loaded all the files, Lydia. There's a
Okay.
zip in the chat, so everybody has it.
Awesome. Thanks, Desiree. You're the best. I couldn't ask for a better co-facilitator. Now I need to get back to my presentation. So there is that assessment. And if you want to just kind of briefly read it over, it's something that we can take a moment to look at. And we may not have the time to fully sit with the assessment in this moment, but I wanted to make sure that you have it for reference. It's something that you can share with your teams, and it can give us an interesting starting place to discuss which area we are finding a need for. Share my presentation again. And so looking at the first section, we have physical wellness, which encourages regular physical activity, balanced nutrition, and adequate rest. But then it can be kind of obscure, right? Like, how do we actually focus on that in the workplace? And so we have some questions here that I would love for us to work through. How might integrating enjoyable physical activities into our workday enhance our engagement and our focus? And so that question then tailors that area of well-being to a workplace application, and gets us thinking creatively about how we can incorporate enjoyable physical activity, right? And I'm curious, I've already heard some examples in your intros, but who here has integrated some enjoyable physical activity into their workday? Or if you were going to, what might that look like?
We kind of talked about having some scheduled time, if it like 15 minutes where we'd go take a walk around. We used to have a little trail that we would go, we used to do, took about 15-20 minutes or so. But having that like kind of a scheduled, if you can, awesome. If you can't, that's okay too, type thing.
Awesome. So I'm hearing that you bracket some time in your day to get outside and move around, go for, it sounds like you have a trail accessible by your health department, which is really
Yeah.
awesome. And what I'm hearing is it's bracketed time that's optional, and some days people can join, some days people can't, but you protect that time so that you can activate on it when you're able to. Is that
Mhm.
what I'm hearing?
That's our plan. Well, one of the plans.
Yeah,
It will
that's awesome.
to offer that.
And then I'm curious, are there playful movements, ways that we can have fun, that we can incorporate into our schedule that keep us moving during the work hours? Is there maybe not a structured physical activity, but just something that's fun that gets us to stand up at our desks and maybe move around a little bit?
I'll share. One of the things that I used to do when I worked at a health department is randomly somebody would turn on some music and then we'd all get up and just dance it out to that song and then go back to work. It gets you moving, gets your heart pumping, gets everything going.
I love that. Music can be such a powerful mechanism, can it? It like instantly changes how we feel in our bodies. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody sharing on this area of physical wellness. I am taking a look at the time and we're halfway. So I think this is a great time for us to check in with our physical well-being and see what it is that we will come back to these. What do we need right now? How's everybody feeling? Do we have water? Do we need to take a 5-minute break? Would you like to get up and stretch? I'm just kind of curious, using that awareness, checking in with how we feel, and then honoring that with a little bit of a break. So on that, I know I need to get myself some water. It is now 10:32. Let's be back at 10:40. And I just want you to use this time to take care of yourselves, whatever that means for you in this moment. Whether it means taking a moment to close your eyes and focus on your breath, stand up and move around, grab some water, whatever you need, and we will be back here in just a moment. I know we have just a moment more until people officially join. I think I'm gonna listen to my body and stand for the remainder of our session here together. And as we come back together, I'm curious, after your break, what's one word that describes how you feel right now? After the break, what's one word to describe how you feel? And if you want to share that in chat. If you're interested, you can come off of mute and share. What else did you notice on your break? How did it feel to take a session in the middle of a meeting? Was it helpful? Was it distracting? Did we feel better afterwards? Just kind of noticing. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but I think it is important to bring awareness to the impact that taking these behaviors or intentionally engaging in these behaviors, right? Like, how do we feel in our body afterwards?
So Diane here, I actually went on a visit. Taylor and I met at the water cooler.
Awesome.
And we were actually talking about, and we were kind of stretching, and we were talking about the things that we used to do, like before the pandemic.
Yeah.
We used to get together in the morning, you know, we used to do those walks. We used to, we had stretching, then we go to different parts of the building and I said, you know, we had it at one point. So anyway, that was good because I felt like, you know, we can do this. We did it before. We just got derailed for a period of time.
I am
was good.
loving all the language that I'm hearing, like noticing what we've done in the past that was
Yes.
successful
Yeah.
and feeling that motivation of, if I've done it in the past, I can do it again, right? I have
Right.
the ability. It's
Right.
just a matter of finding that starting point, right?
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
a really beautiful segue to some of the concepts that we're going to look at next. No problem, Taylor. Thanks for joining us. It was so good to hear from you, and I hope you have a great day. So oh, for some reason my PowerPoint didn't update with the video. Hold on. Might have to refresh. And share. Okay. So now if I've done everything correctly, I should be able to play the video and you should hear the sound. Let's.
The trans-theoretical model. Sometimes
That working? Okay, awesome. So just a quick preface. I think that the key to starting well-being is meeting ourselves where we're at, and that can be a tricky piece of determining really where are we? Are we ready for change? Are we thinking about change? Are we planning change? And so I want to introduce the trans-theoretical model because understanding where we are in our stages of change can help us understand where our colleagues and our workplace is overall in its preparedness to begin wellness initiatives. So let's begin just understanding the trans-theoretical model. Oh no, go back. Here we go.
the trans-theoretical model, sometimes referred to as the stages of change, is a model created to understand and motivate individuals to change addictive behaviors. It consists of 4 key constructs: stages of change, processes of change, decisional balance, and self-efficacy. The stages of change are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. The processes of change are 10 techniques that are used to help individuals process through the stages. Decisional balance is the weighing of pros and cons in the trans-theoretical model, and self-efficacy is the individual's belief that they can change their behavior. One of the best ways to understand the model is to apply it to an example of an individual progressing through the stages. This is Billy. He often eats fast food to save time in his busy schedule. He is in the stage of pre-contemplation, meaning he has not thought about the effects of eating fast food for many of his meals. To progress to the next stage, the first process of change, conscious raising, is applied. He may have heard about the movie Super Size Me and found out that fast food diet is very unhealthy. Now that he has some small amount of awareness, he has progressed to this contemplation stage, where he begins to look more closely at his behavior. He notices that some of his clothes are not fitting like they used to. The process of change that might affect him now is dramatic relief, where he begins to have anxiety due to his unhealthy behavior. He may also see others who have lost a lot of weight and be encouraged to do the same. But at this point he sees the pros and cons as about equal and is not really ready to change his behavior, until he goes through another process known as self-evaluation, where he realizes that being healthy is something he really wants, and the decisional balance begins to shift towards the pros of losing weight outweighing the cons of it being difficult. Environment reevaluation is when the individual realizes how their unhealthy behavior affects others. Billy realized that he wasn't able to keep up with his coworkers anymore when they would go play basketball. This leads him into preparation stages of change, processes of change, decisional balance, and self-efficacy. On stage, where he begins to think about how he could lose the weight. His self-efficacy begins to increase as he goes through the next processes of change, social and self-liberation. He discusses his future goals of losing weight to his wife and coworkers and realizes that the people around him would support this change, and then begins to believe in himself. At this point, he makes a plan to cut out his junk food and start eating healthy meals. Helping relationships are another process that affects him when his wife offers to start packing his lunches for him. Once he begins eating his packed lunches and a healthier breakfast, he is in the action stage. This is where the behavior is changed, but it takes a lot of effort to make the new behavior stick. Some of the processes or strategies used at this stage can be counter-conditioning and reinforcement management. Counter-conditioning refers to substituting healthy alternatives to unhealthy behaviors. Instead of having a milkshake like Billy used to do often, he has begun having a smoothie made with fresh fruits. Reinforcement management is increasing the rewards for the positive behavior and decreasing the rewards for the negative behavior. Billy has been noticing his old clothes are fitting better again and no longer sees the need for fast food. Finally, Billy transitions into the maintenance stage, where he must continue to use reinforcement management and stimulus control to make the new behavior a lasting change. Stimulus control is using reminders to encourage the healthy behavior. Billy may begin weighing himself every morning to continue to keep in his mind that he is happy with his behavior change and does not want to slip back into his unhealthy habits.
So, I'm curious, what were some takeaways that we noticed in the video? I know for me, a big one is the action that needs to take place in order for an individual to move through the different stages is different depending on where they are. I think that's the key, right? But I'm curious, what are some other takeaways? And feel free, if you'd prefer to share in chat, I'm going to pull that up here. And applying the trans-theoretical model, I would like to go back and look at some of our dimensions of well-being. And I'm curious, is there a dimension of well-being that we are most interested in discussing with our time left in the terms of a workplace application? We have physical, emotional, occupational, social, intellectual, and spiritual areas of well-being. And then talking about how we can distill those areas of well-being into an actionable behavior that we feel ready to engage with, depending on where we're at. Curious, anybody have? Let's see. Support for those around you is important. Yeah, so a piece from the video that was valuable was the social support piece can help move us through the stages of change. When we feel like we have support around from those around us, it increases our own self-efficacy in our ability to do a behavior, right? Form of behavior. So I'm curious, do any of you feel a particular need in one area of well-being within the workplace over the other? Oh, totally. Yes, I would love to. Let me go ahead and.
Lydia, I can do that. Why don't you keep going? I can get it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think a good place to start is social wellness. It breeds connection in the workplace. And that through that connection, we can get to know one another better, and we can get to know where we're at and what we're most interested in from a well-being perspective. So I'd love to dive into these discussion questions. Social wellness encourages creating and maintaining positive relationships, contributing to the welfare of the community, and effectively communicating with others. And so some questions that can move us in the direction of a behavior are: how might engaging in lighthearted interactions at work build a more cohesive team? And what might those, my follow-up question too is, what might those lighthearted interactions look like during the workday? I can share from personal experience. Desiree and I have co-working sessions. We work remote, and one way that we can get out of the heaviness of our work is by co-working on a call together, simultaneously working on separate things at the same time. And we often open those co-working sessions with drawing a card of some type. Like I have these big talk cards. And so just opening the door for some communication for the day that's not work related, so we can connect with one another, see where we're feeling before we dive into the productivity. I'm curious if any of you have some lighthearted interactions that you've noticed increase that social connectivity and build that social support.
I like that idea of like a card or something like that. For my department, I have a board outside my office and I write a joke every week. And it's
I
a
love
very
that.
dad joke. It's hilarious. I find them really funny. Usually I get them from my son. But I feel like throughout the week, I'll just get random people, who walk by and then you just hear them laugh. Or they look at me and they're like, good one. But it might not. I feel like it has some type of connection and it just helps in the moment. So,
Oh, totally. And you never know whose day you might brighten as they walk past and they happen to catch the joke, and you might not even know, but it
yeah.
was a positive interaction for them as they pass by. And I love that piece. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Another question that we can think about in this area of well-being is, what team activities can we introduce that promote connectivity and strengthen our collaborative spirit, right? And so what are some activities that we could collaborate on as a team that enhance our social well-being at work? I've heard some great ones already just in the beginning of our session. The intentional meeting in the beginning part of the day, we were hearing that. The bracketed walks that people can go on if they have the time. Are there any other team activities that you've utilized that you want to share with your peers? And if you'd like to share that in chat, go ahead. I'm just keeping an eye on time. And what I wanted to do is leave you with a actionable tool. I believe Desiree shared them in chat previously, but if you could drop them maybe one more time, the SMART goal sheet and the action checklist. And so if you would like some ideas for your workplace on different behaviors within the different areas of wellness, you can share them with your team. You can look at them yourself, identify one behavior that in an area of well-being that you feel needs some attention. And if you aren't sure which area needs attention, we have the 6 dimensions of wellness self-assessment tool. So you can start there. And then identify a behavior from the checklist that you'd like to begin, or come up with your own. This is totally creative and you have full autonomy. And then once you identify that behavior, you can use our SMART goal sheet to break it down into specific action steps that make it attainable. And this process can be what's the word? Intimidating when we first approach it. And so I want to encourage everyone to utilize me as a resource. You're always welcome to hop on my Calendly and set up an appointment, a one-on-one consult. We can work through your SMART goals and find a starting point if you would like some structured guidance on that piece. And so I wanted to make sure those tools were in your hands today, but I also want you to feel like you have the support to reach out and get that one-on-one guidance, as well as this group interaction as well. And so if you'd like more well-being support, you can, if you aren't already, officially register as a wellness champion on our registration form. And you can sign up for a one-on-one coaching session with myself. And most importantly, keep showing up for yourself, because your well-being matters, and we really appreciate the work that you're doing and want to be here to support you. I'm curious if there's any follow-up questions, curiosities. I know it's a lot of material to dive into, and it can certainly feel like a lot to start. And so we want to make sure that you feel empowered with the tools, resources, and support to get started. And it's certainly a lot to fill in an hour. So hopefully these bi-weekly sessions can be a good time for us to all check in as a group, share how things are going, and do these engaging activities together every 2 weeks. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.